Hello, can you please uh, come in and be seated? Guys, please, it's 2 p.m. already. Guys, guys, can you please be seated? It's 2 p.m. It's gonna start. Please, guys, it's going to start. Hello, so we should start now. So today's sessions, it's particularly significant as we are going to proceed to the vote. So I would like to thank you all for your active contributions. Our secretariat has received over 260 amendments, which shows the dedication and engagement of this committee. So we're really happy about it. A bit tired, but still really happy. So let me briefly outline our agenda for the day. We'll start by voting on the agenda and on the draft agenda in the minutes of the previous meeting. Then it will be followed by comments from the rapporteur and providing important insights into the proposed amendments and the report. Then we will hold an exchange of views of the amendments. So we will open the floor to all the members of this committee before moving to the votes. So first votes on individual amendments, second vote on the amended report, and finally we'll vote on the mandate to begin the negotiations with the council. So please, today we have like a lot of on our plate. So I really ask you to be cooperate, to be efficient, to really ensure a productive session and be able to be done on time and be done with everything. So please be careful on the allocated time limits when I will give you the floor, on the procedure rules for the vote. So yeah, let us so first item of the agenda. Let's adopt the agenda for today's meeting in accordance of Article 163 of the Rules of Procedure of the EP. Who is against the agenda? Thank you. So the agenda is adopted. Moving on to the adoption on the minutes of last meeting that are available on our website. Who's against? The minutes are adopted. So I will now give the floor to our rapporteur to share her comments and provide essential context for today's discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yesterday, I met with the EP team and the fellow shadow rapporteurs at 12 o'clock noon, and my fellow colleague from the Greens said optimistically that we would be finished by 4 o'clock, no? Little did we know that the time at which we finished would actually be closer to 4 in the morning than to 4 in the afternoon. But I want to thank my fellow shadows and my team from the EP Secretariat for the very fruitful, constructive, and somewhat time-efficient negotiations yesterday. In my closing remarks a few days ago, I asked all groups to keep an open mind, to stay open for compromise, and I am very happy and proud to say that they did. We have strengthened the draft report's position where it was necessary and introduced new amendments. We have strengthened our stance on minimum harmonization, which we think fits better than the full harmonization proposed by the Commission, as it allows the member states to introduce stricter rules if they choose to do so. We have installed safeguards to ensure the compliance of all actors with the directive. The role of the advisory group has been changed. It shall now act as a supervisory group, and we gave it more supervisory responsibilities. The scheme of sanctions will now take the size of the entities into regard as to not burden smaller organizations or civil society organizations unproportionally. While all groups defended their party positions, they all showed flexibility when necessary to achieve a compromise and achieve the higher goal, which is to get a directive that is ambitious and represents the position of the European citizens. I believe we have achieved this higher goal, and of that I'm very thankful and very proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now for the exchange of views on amendments. So we will open the floor to all MEPs. Each MEP will have up to 2 minutes to share their views, so please respect the times because then again, the voting. So this is an opportunity to defend an amendment they feel strongly about or maybe highlight a key idea from the text. Please stay focused on the content of the amendment or the text. This is not the time to raise unready topics. So I open the floor. So we have for the Greens, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thanks to everyone involved in the preparation of this hugely important file over the past week, especially the rapporteur, the shadows, and the Secretariat for their hard work. We as the Greens are a bit disappointed and pretty much worried that full harmonization could be dropped from the text. It's a fundamental principle that would ensure consistency across all member states and reduce the risk of perverse incentives and forum shopping. We're even more disappointed that our proposal to find a compromise between the maximal proposal by the Commission and the minimal one from the rapporteur was rejected in an attempt to oversimplify the issue as being solely about member states' control. It seems that Parliament has surrendered to the Council before negotiations have even begun. In this regard, we are determined to work alongside the Commission over the following days to find a workable solution to the amendments may potentially undermine the ambitious spirit of the text. That said, we're pleased to have worked with our allies to include some ambitious provisions that seek to minimize the negative impacts of regulatory fragmentation. Firstly, we're happy to have worked on the compromise amendments to grant more powers to the advisory group, but making it a supervisory group. Increased supervision will ensure that all entities, especially smaller ones, have their fundamental rights protected. On that, we are proud of the amendment to properly define civil society organizations and set a threshold for smaller ones, which will serve as a basis for increased protections and the accommodation of their specific needs. We're also pleased to have led the work with our colleagues in the S&D on the compromise amendment creating an EU online platform, which will provide increased transparency for the EU, the member states, and the public. We're confident that our proposed amendments will increase the quality of the text, increasing transparency while protecting fundamental rights. But we are also aware that more work is needed, and we will therefore support negotiations in the upcoming trilogues, hoping that we focus on proposals which will not only benefit member states in the Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you. For ESN, yes.
Thank you very much. I would like to draw attention to 3 of our main points, amendments that we submitted. So on the subject of Amendment 84, adding a new point C to Article 2, Paragraph 4, we suggest adding a reference to foreign political parties to make the text stronger and more precise. The proposed directive only targets political parties in power. What about dangerous terrorist groups in Sri Lanka, Syria, Lebanon? What about Hamas? Should Hamas-funded organizations roam free? Now, concerning Amendment 144, I want you to take a minute to read the Annex 1, 2, and 3. Then read Article 10, Paragraph 9. Why on earth would the Commission want to add anything to the list of information? We ask for a complete removal of this provision, which goes against the principle of legal certainty. Both companies and CSOs should be certain about the amount of information that will be asked of them. They should not be submitted to the will of an inconsistent Commission. This is also why we are suggesting the adoption of Amendment 206, Article 16, Paragraph 9, as it gives sole power to the Commission to adopt delegated acts to amend financial thresholds in order to target entities that are particularly likely to influence the development of policy or legislation. Now, finally, relative to Amendment 162 on Article 12.3, we propose the addition of core EU fundamental rights. Member States should ensure, while implementing the directive, that they are taking into consideration the right to privacy and family life, the right to data protection, the right to association, and the right to conduct a business. This amendment is an opportunity to validate the concerns of the civil society organisations we heard on Monday, so please take them into account.
Thank you. Now I think for SND, Mr. Meves.
Thank you. I want to specifically thank the rapporteur and the shadow rapporteurs for their commitment to the negotiations yesterday. I'm highly impressed also by the Secretariat staff for making it here. Thank you very much for your efforts. I want to highlight two compromise amendments that I think are very crucial for us to decide on today. The first is the crucial definition of what we think interest representation activity means. And it's included in compromise amendment number 3. For me as a Romanian MEP, it is very, very good to see that the digital realm is included. For those who have been following the news on Romania, most of the attacks happen in the digital realm, and this is a position that will not necessarily be brought up in the Council, so it is crucial that we as the Parliament take the stance to really take the digital threats seriously and protect our democracy on that side. I want to also recommend everybody to vote for compromise amendment number 22. My colleague from the Greens mentioned that we sacrificed full harmonization. That does not mean that we should not have transparency on third country interest representation on an EU level. Compromise amendment number 22 creates exactly that. Transparency for all citizens on which entities are registered across the EU in those transparency registers. So please vote for that compromise amendment 22. It is a very good solution for easy transparency. Thank you very much.
Thank you. For EPP? For EPP? Yes, Mr. Riesta? Is it? Sorry.
Thank you very much. On behalf of my fellow colleagues at EPP, I would like to express our strong opposition to the compromise amendments 6 and 7, of which 6 is a definition required for the Amendment 7's modification. This Amendment 7 seeks to completely change the directive scope, making it invasive towards entities, large or not, that is irrelevant, very core funding mechanisms. I would invite the Assembly to once more read the last few words of Amendment 7. This amendment obliges large entities to register irrespective of how they use the money they receive from third-party entities. This means that just because the US pays rent for their offices in Brussels, these entities will be treated as if they are actively representing American interests. What was that about preventing undue stigmatization? But never mind. This is exactly what civil actors fear the most from this directive, and what this directive was never meant to be about. I am particularly concerned about the fact that if this amendment goes through, the directive's legal basis will become fragile, compromised. Because by broadening the scope of this directive to this extent, we are no longer making this about protecting ourselves from lobbying services that are on the brink of foreign influences. We are becoming the foreign influence on how these entities are funding their activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, Patriots? Yes? Mr. Mochard-Dumont?
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, I just have to mention, please state your name, country, and party before. Thank you.
Mr. Mochard-Dumont from France for the beautiful Rassemblement National. So thank you again. I wanted to say, as I said in the first two sessions, that the Commission, the Council, the Rapporteur, all admit that the proposal is totally about foreign interference. It's about national security. Yet we know from the beginning that they intended on pushing for the internal market narrative. So be it for now. But the really disturbing thing is that national security is never mentioned once in the potential exemption, never mentioned once in the opt-out potential. It's very disturbing that you don't even consider that national security can be something that the state can take into consideration when building such important registers. But yesterday in the meeting of shadows, you even came up with more interesting ideas. I thank very much our colleague from Romania for mentioning Compromise Amendment 22, because you actually revealed the whole time what it was about. It's not at all about respecting the competence of member states, not at all about respecting that they can decide who can lobby them, who cannot. You actually want to build a European system, a European central system. You said it yourself, centralized. It's a database that is centralized, and you also even gave more opportunities for a centralized European body to enforce their will. So what I'm asking is, what is the point of creating such burdensome administrations? Why create 27 national registries? Why create 27 supervisory authorities? Just build one central system, as you all love it in the progressive, so-called progressive coalition. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now for Renew, we have Mr. Karakoyun.
Mehmetcan Karakoyun, Renew Netherlands. Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues, I want to draw your attention to a critical aspect of transparency that requires our immediate focus: the financing of political parties and candidates by third countries, Article 3, Paragraph 2, Amendment 94. While this directive rightly addresses interest representation, it must also tackle the risks posed by foreign funding in EU politics, an area where influence can be covered, yet deeply damaging to our democratic integrity. The inclusion of provisions regulating third country financing is not just a matter of transparency, it is about protecting the foundation of our democracy. We propose clear rules requiring full disclosure of all contributions from third country entities, setting strict limits, and empowering independent authorities to monitor compliance. This measure is vital for several reasons. First, it directly addresses the growing risk of foreign interference in EU decision-making processes. By regulating such contributions, we can prevent undue influence on our political systems and ensure that EU policies are shaped by the will of our citizens, not external actors. Second, transparency builds trust. Citizens deserve to know who is funding the political actors seeking to represent them. Public registers of disclosed contributions will enable scrutiny by journalists, civil society, and the electorate itself, reinforcing accountability. Third, this approach aligns with the EU's broader commitments to transparency, democratic values, and good governance. It ensures consistency across member states, preventing regulatory loopholes, and setting a unified standard for safeguarding our political processes. Colleagues, this article strengthens the directive's core mission. It's a practical, proportional, and necessary step toward protecting the EU's sovereignty and maintaining trust in our institutions. Let us act decisively to ensure that our democracy remains free from hidden influences. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for the left, Mr. Passo, I think. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to thank hard work from the Madam Rapporteur and Shadows Secretary yesterday in coming to these compromises. And I will respond to the comment from my esteemed colleague from the EPP. We really believe that it's important to extend the scope as proposed in Compromise Amendments 6 and 7. We have seen cross-party support on it, which is an indication of the importance and the relevance of these additions. The purpose of this directive is to increase transparency in the Union. The context in which we work, this important proposal means that not preventing, sanctioning, or targeting these entities, but ensuring this transparency in interest representation activity in light of the disproportionate and broad influence on European decision-making is essential. These large entities inherently represent the interests of the country, the third country which can circumvent the purpose of the directive by supporting large entities in ways outside of explicit interest representation activities. We hope for your support and on these important compromise amendments, support that reflects not our party allegiances, but our unity in ensuring democracy, transparency, and the protection of rights for the European citizens we are here to represent. Thank you.
Thank you. Now ECR, I think. Ms. Lombardi.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, fellow colleagues. I'm Judge Lombardi, ECR MEP from Poland. I'm happy to sit in this committee today and have the possibility to contribute to this important work in defense of our national and European institutions and in defense of our citizens. I want to congratulate our group shadow rapporteur for the work done on these amendments. I'm proud to say that our group's amendments are truly aimed at safeguarding our sovereign states from foreign influence, fake news, propaganda, and corruption, ensuring to uncover malignant offenses against democratic institutions and respecting their sovereignty and competences. Our goal for this directive, reflected in our amendments, are the protection of national competences and sovereignty we cannot ignore, and also as we cannot ignore the legislation already enforced in our countries. I ask this assembly to take our amendments into consideration. We also promote a low administrative and financial burden for both interest representation entities and national administrations. While voting, remember this and remember the noble objective of protecting our national institutions from malignant influences at our doors. The amendments that we propose are the ones that will be able to achieve this objective. Thank you.
Thank you. Non-attached, yes. Ms. Garrido.
Madam Chair, colleagues, I would like to thank the work that the rapporteur and the shadows did with this directive. However, I must question how everyone just came to me last minute asking for my votes, asking what my opinions were, asking for meetings, and last minute, oh, actually, we didn't have time. Just be cautious. I still represent someone. I still represent my people, and don't just come begging for votes when you think that you cannot make alliances with other people. Thank you.
Thank you for SND. I think we had Mr. Garcia.
Hello, dear colleagues. I ask you to please pay attention to what I believe to be an important point. Me as an MEP and the Social Democrat group worked closely with the stakeholders to assure that their concerns were addressed in the Parliament amendments. And one of their crucial concerns was making the key definition in the text more clear to clarify the scope of the directive and reduce uncertainty of the potentially affected entities. I worked on carefully clarifying the definition of interest representation activities. Unfortunately, CA3 on article paragraph 1 incorporated amendment 79, and the definition of interest representation activities now states that these activities cover those that directly or indirectly affect public policy or public opinion. What does indirectly mean in this context? I believe that this amendment, 1, substantially expands the scope of the directive, 2, opens potential loopholes for countries to label anything as interest representation activities, claiming that it is indirectly influencing public opinion, and 3, and most importantly, it makes the definition and the scope less clear than before, which is the opposite of what stakeholders were asking us to do. This is why I ask you to vote against Compromise Amendment 3, even at the cost of defeating my own contributions to this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you for EPP. I think Mr. Quitman.
Hello. I stand here before you today with a profound concern regarding this bill. While its goals of ensuring transparency and accountability are commendable, the structure it proposes risks undermining the very principles we are here to protect: democracy, the rule of law, and the just exercise of powers by national authorities. The creation of national enforcement agencies without sufficient European oversight is a dangerous precedent. These agencies could be weaponized to target political opponents, stigmatize legitimate interest representation by third countries, or even provide cover for malign foreign actors like Venezuela. Without robust safeguards, the potential for abuse is clear and present. Colleagues, I have fought hard to include a compromise amendment that would empower the advisory board to strengthen oversight. The requirement for the advisory board to approve the nomination of national enforcement agency heads is a step in the right direction. But let me be frank, without the ability to intervene when national authorities misuse their powers, the advisory board is nothing more than a paper tiger. That is why Amendment 233 is so critical. It equips the advisory group with the necessary authority to temporarily suspend and assume the duties of national enforcement agencies in cases of proven misconduct. This safeguard is not about diminishing national sovereignty, it is about ensuring that no one, no agency, no actor is above the law. Esteemed fellow members of this body, you were elected to represent to the best of your abilities the interests of your constituents, not to blindly follow a voting list elaborated in closed-door meetings. If you value the rule of law as much as I do, if you want to protect transparency as much as I do, if you feel the same urgency about preventing the misuse of this instrument by malign actors, then I call on you to join me in the broad coalition of MEPs across party lines in supporting Amendment 233. Let us make this legislation robust, credible, and just. Thank you.
Thank you. Please don't forget to state your country and your group. Also raise your hands for us to know who wants to talk and where you are. Thank you. So next, Patriots, Mr. Romero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Simon Romero, proudly Hungarian MEP from Patriots for Europe family. I would like to call the attention on Amendment 86, which seeks to include public or private entities identified as political parties under the directive scope. It really hit hard this morning, realizing that you couldn't reach a compromise on it. This amendment, rightly raised by our ESN colleagues, is essential to ensure that political actors that do not represent any third country's interests are held to the highest standards of transparency. Organizations with opaque agendas, such as the Muslim Brotherhood, which promotes a clear political and cultural views, which is against our Christian and political and cultural roots, and operates while not representing any third country's interests, could and will exploit, for sure, these gaps to bypass accountability. This proposal once again highlights the double standards on the EU level. You want to tell us who we should trust and in whom we should trust, and this should stop immediately. These risks are not hypothetical. They threaten and erode the trust in our institutions and undermine the democratic values, not to mention the security, of course, values upon which the EU should be built. This is why I ask you, dear colleagues, to support Amendment 86 to close a dangerous loophole in this proposal. Thank you very much.
I saw, Renew, Ms. Bogaciuk, yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bogaciuk Carolina, Renew Finland. Dear colleagues, as we prepare to vote, I kindly ask for your support for the amendments 130 and 131 to Article 9, Paragraph 5 and 6. For this reason, I want to take a moment to outline why these proposals are not only practical, but also essential for strengthening transparency across the European Union. These amendments introduce two key provisions: the interconnection of national registers with the EU Transparency Register and the establishment of the EU Transparency Register as a central platform for assessing the interconnecting data. Why should we support these amendments? Finland, like many member states, already maintains a robust national register for transparency in interest representation activities. By connecting these national registers to the EU Transparency Register, we create a unified, efficient system that builds on existing strengths while enhancing EU-wide cooperation. These amendments streamline data access, reducing duplication and making critical information more accessible to public authorities, stakeholders, and citizens alike. A single interconnected system eliminates unnecessary administrative burdens while ensuring full transparency. The proposal fully complies with GDPR, ensuring secure and lawful data exchange. It balances transparency with the need to protect personal information, a cornerstone to our shared EU values. By facilitating reliable and accurate data sharing between member states, these amendments enhance consistency while respecting national autonomy in maintaining registers. Leveraging the existing EU Transparency Register as a central platform reduces costs for member states and offers a scalable solution that can adapt the evolving needs. By facilitating reliable and accurate data sharing between member states, these amendments enhance consistently while respecting national autonomy in maintaining register. I urge you to support these amendments during the vote. Together, we can build a stronger, more transparent, and more cooperative union. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I saw ECR. Yes. Mr. Sezgin.
Hello, I'm Toprak Sezgin. I'm the ECR MEP for Bulgaria. Dear colleagues, I want to talk about our amendments 166, 169, 170, and 172. They more or less all serve the same purpose of increasing the time duration for the annual reports to be submitted by the member states to 2 years instead of 1 year. As a MEP from a cohesion fund country, I believe that this amendment would appeal to similar countries and their representatives here, because we do need any help that we can get and all the time that we can get in order to make sure that we can implement this proposal to the best of our abilities. We should also bear in mind the fact that we are among some of the countries that are targeted the most by Russia. In this sense, I do believe that these amendments would be quite helpful. With that being said, I would like to thank my group for their continued support throughout the process, and I hope that this is a fruitful session for all of you. Thank you.
Thank
Manier, ECR Romania.
No,
So today
I
we're
didn't
going to
give you
vote
the
12
floor.
amendments on my name.
Can you take it? Take
Big
his
Brother
mic,
is watching
please?
you.
Can
Big
you take
Brother
the
is
mic?
watching you.
Thank you. I think I saw EPP. Yes. So Garcia, Miss Garcia for EPP.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I'm a proud Hungarian and a proud member of the EPP. Today, I want to talk about the importance of safeguarding critical areas in the context of the proposed amendment and directive. Amendment 72 is not just a technical adjustment, it's a vital step towards securing the European Union's most valuable sectors against external influence. As we know, sectors such as technology, defense, and energy are not just integral to our economy, they are the backbone of our security and sovereignty. These critical areas represent the foundation upon which the Union's stability and prosperity rest. Yet they are also the sectors most exposed to the risks posed by foreign interference. This amendment recognizes these threats. It ensures that critical sectors like this receive the aid and transparency they deserve. Transparency is not just about monitoring, it's about trust. And yet, the beauty of this amendment is its balance. While it pays attention to technology, defense, and energy, it does not exclude other sectors. This ensures a comprehensive and inclusive approach that leaves no vulnerabilities unaddressed. With these amendments, we take a significant step towards securing our critical sectors, reinforcing our union, and ensuring the full success of the proposal. I kindly ask you to vote in favor of Amendment 72. It may be at the very end of the voting list, but it surely leads to a better Europe. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think last but not least, SND, I think Mr. Cornet, did I see you raise your hand? Yes. That will be the last comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'm happy to see that the copy of the compromise amendment is great. However, I have a concern about compromise amendment 26, which is deleting being a part of what I call pluralism democracy in Europe, to make sure that this text respects subsidiarities, to open the possibility to have a parliamentary scrutiny on the supervisory authority and at the national level, which will make the text way more balanced. And with that compromise amendment, the negotiator forgetted the role of the parliament. So really, I strongly encourage you to vote again compromise amendment 26 if you want more right to the parliamentary amendment, because the next one, 185, is way better for democracy. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all for your comments. So now for the votes. I just want you to be really careful on the rules. So pay attention. So first of all, according to Rule 194 and 224 of the Rules of Procedure, the votes for amendments are adopted by a simple majority. Second of all, according to Rule, again, 224 of the Rule of Procedure, the votes shall be taken by a show of hands. So please make sure to show your hands properly, reach the sky. We want to see everyone. We don't want to miss your votes. Exactly, like Louisa. Then I can decide, the chair can decide if it's the results are not clear enough to proceed to an electronic votes. You can also decide that, but with at least the highest threshold in this committee to request a vote, a roll call by electronic vote. Sorry. Also, still according to Rule 194, when I declare the vote open, no one except the president shall be allowed to speak until the vote is declared to be closed. So no, I guess I'm looking at some people, especially, but no comments on anything. The results will be, according to the same article in the paragraph 5, the result of the vote will be announced after. So I can show you a bit how we're going to do it. I'm about to ask you who is in favor. You show your hands if you're in favor or not. Who's against? Same. And who's abstain? And after that, I'll be able to tell you if this amendment was adopted or if it was rejected. And we'll go on step by step with the voting list that you should normally have received. According to Rule 188, wait, sorry. Yeah, no, I think we can move on to the vote now. So, yes. Yeah. Yes, by raising your hands and requesting it. Yeah, it's like if no one objects, and it has to be at least with the highest threshold in this committee. 9. Yes. 9 members. Yeah, 9 members of this committee. Yes. When did you send the email?
To what address?
Yes, because we don't see it. To what?
IMCO or IMCOSEC?
Yeah, but that's not this one. We just received your. I mean, I can only see your voting list at 12:45, and that's it. Okay. Oh, sorry. So I hope you all have your voting list there. So Article 1, Paragraph 1, Compromised Amendment 1. Who is in favor? Now, for the first one, we'll be slow, just to, be sure. Yes? Who is against? Yeah, I'm going to ask for an electronic vote on this one.
So the vote that you will receive in your email labeled EP03 corresponds to Compromise Amendment 1. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to get into your inboxes. Please raise your hand if you receive it already. Perfect.
You received it? Okay. We can already hear some notifications, so they're probably...
Has anyone not been able to vote?
The voting is closed and the amendment is adopted. So it's 24 in favor and 20 against, 1 abstain. Okay, so moving on to Article 2, paragraph -1, which is a new one, Compromise Amendment 2, Amendment 10, Amendment 78. Who is in favor? Okay, it's adopted. Moving on to Article 2, paragraph 1, Compromise Amendment 3. Who is in favor? Amendment adopted. Moving on to Article 2, paragraph 4.a, Compromise Amendment 4. Who is in favor? Adopted. Article Article 2, paragraph 4.c, Amendment 85. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Amendment rejected. Article 2, paragraph 4.c, Amendment 86. Who is in favor? Who's against? Amendment rejected. Article 2, paragraph 6.b. Who is in favor? Who's against? Amendment rejected. Article 2, paragraph 15.a new, a new point. Compromise Amendment 5. Who is in favor? Compromise Amendment adopted. Article 2, paragraph 15, Compromise Amendment 6. Who is in favor? Oh, sorry, my bad. Article 2, paragraph 14.b new, Amendment 89. Who is in favor? Who is against? The amendment is rejected. Article 2, paragraph 14.c, Amendment 90. Who is in favor? Who's against? Rejected. Amendment rejected, sorry. Article 2, paragraph 15, Compromise Amendment 6 this time. Who's in favor? Compromise amendment adopted. Article Article 3, paragraph 2.a, amendment 96. Who is in favor? Who's against? Amendment rejected. Article 3, paragraph 2.d. Amendment 95. Who is in favor? Who is against? Rejected. Amendment 93. Who is in favor? Who's against? Rejected. Amendment 94. Who is in favor? Who's against? Rejected. Article 3, paragraph point E. Article 3, paragraph point E. Amendment 97. Who is in favor? Who's against? Rejected. Amendment 98. Who is in favor? Who's against? Rejected. Article 3, paragraph 2.f. Amendment 99. Sorry. Who's in favor? Who's against? Rejected. Amendment 100. Who is in favor? How many are you asking for roll call votes? Yeah. So then again, check your emails. Oh, you. 100.
The email you will be receiving now, the vote labeled EP04 corresponds to Amendment 100. Are you receiving the email? No.
The access codes have not been generated in the meeting.
Come again, John?
You're using EP04, right?
Yes.
Yeah, wait then. Something's wrong with the access codes. Give me a second.
Just to be clear, we're doing electronic voting, not roll call votes, because for roll call votes, you need to request it by writing before, the evening before. Before the start, yeah.
They're receiving the emails, John. So
No, but that's why we are doing, it's just like on the term that I used, it was the miss one. So instead of roll call, it's called an electronic voting.
Invites have now been sent out, and I see that the first votes have come in, so it should take just a matter of seconds before the rest of you get the email.
For the purpose of the simulation game, it's before the meeting. I mean, they still. We didn't receive it. If you cannot copy paste a good email, that's on you. That's not on me. Please be sure to click on the email and vote. (29 against, 14 in favor, 1 abstain, 2 abstains, so the amendment is rejected. Moving on to Article 3, Paragraph 2.g, Amendment 101. Who's in favor? Who's against? Who's abstained, sorry? Amendment rejected. You can ask for roll call vote. You can ask for an electronic vote, but not for roll call votes. I mean, no, according to the procedure, like we mentioned, you can't. If there's, you know that just if you're asking for electronic voting, it's just going to show you numbers, not the people who voted, right? Is that sure? You just want the numbers, like precise numbers, but not the people. Okay, then let's do, you should receive an email. Wait. First of all, no shouting, no nothing. Was just checking. Take a sip of water. Okay, this one goes through, but be assured that the team of the Secretariat is really working on the rules of procedure, and they be able to give you more precise answer. So please vote for this one. You should have received an email. Thank you.
John, it's happening again.
You need to click generate access codes, which you're not clicking when you activate the vote. So therefore, without access codes, no one can vote. They've now been generated, and the emails will go out in just a second.
Okay, thank you. So as a reminder, the vote labeled EP05 corresponds to Amendment 101. Still waiting on 14 votes.
Who hasn't received the email?
There is a bit of a problem here. There's some of the emails have not gone out yet. Wait a minute. Let me send reminders to those people. It's lots of ECR, Greens, and ESN that haven't got them at the moment. Wait. Right, that's all sent now. So those groups should also have received the request. Everyone should be able to vote now.
Okay, so two in favor, 32 against, one abstains. 12 in favor, sorry, 32 against, one abstains. So that's the amendment is rejected. Moving on to Article A. Sorry, Article A, Amendment 107. Who is in favor? Who's against? Rejected. Article 4, Compromise Amendment 8. Who's in favor? Who's against? Adopted. Article 5, Amendment 108. Who is in favor? Who's against? Rejected. Article 7, paragraph 1, point D. Who is in favor? Compromise Amendment 9, Amendment 109. Who is in favor? Who is against? Adopted. Article 7, paragraph 2, Amendment 110. Who is in favor? Who's against? Okay, we're going to do it again. Who is in favor? Who's against? Rejected. Sorry, my bad. I'm going to do it one last time, I promise. For Amendment 110, who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 111. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 112. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Sorry, rejected. Sorry. Article 7, paragraph 4, amendment 113. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 114. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 8, paragraph 1, Amendment 12 and Amendment 115. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 8, paragraph 3, Compromise Amendment 10, Amendment 13, Amendment 118. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 8, paragraph 4, plus 5, Compromise Amendment 11, Amendment 123, Amendment 125. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Moving on, Article 9, paragraph 1, Amendment 15 and Amendment 127. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 126. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 9, paragraph 5, Amendment 128. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 129. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 130. Who is in favor? Who's the favor? Oh, can we rise up? Thank you. Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment, Article 9, paragraph 6, Amendment 131. Who is in favor? Sorry. It falls if this amendment falls if 130 falls, which did. So moving on to Article 10, paragraph 1, Compromise Amendment 12. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Amendment adopted. Article 10, paragraph 4, Compromise Amendment 13, Amendment 139. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? adopted. Article 10, compromise amendment 14, amendment, so it's on the other page, huh? Amendment 141, who's in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 10, paragraph 7, compromise amendment 15, who's in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 10, paragraph 9, amendment 136, 137, 144. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 10, paragraph 10, a new paragraph 10, amendment 145. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who's abstains? Rejected. Article 10, paragraph 11, amendment 146. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who's abstains? Amendment rejected. Article B has been withdrawn yesterday by the Greens. So moving on to Article 11, paragraph 1, compromise amendment 16, amendment 147. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 11, paragraph 2, compromise amendment 17, amendment 149. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 11, paragraph 3, compromise amendment 18, amendment 151. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 11, paragraph 4, compromise amendment 19, amendment 153. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 11, paragraph 5, compromise amendment 20, amendment 154. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 11, paragraph 6, amendment 156. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 12, paragraph 1.a, amendment 157. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 12, paragraph 2, compromise amendment 21. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 12, paragraph 3 to 5, compromise amendments 22, amendment 161. Sorry, 2 seconds. You can take a sip of water if you want. Stay hydrated. So coming back, Article 12, paragraph 3 to 5. Please. Compromise amendment 22, amendment 161. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 12, paragraph 3, Compromise Amendment 23. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 13, paragraph 1. Article 13, paragraph 1. Amendment 165. It falls. You can see like compromise amendment 23. You go on the, if adopted, amendment 163 and amendment 62 and 164 fall. So we're moving on to Article 13, paragraph 1, amendment 165. Who's in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Oh la la. No, stop it. Code of conduct. You should not make a scene. We said no one talks. If the vote is here, I'm the only one talking. So it's been rejected. Article 13, yeah, but you say woo. Article 13, paragraph 1, amendment 166. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 13, paragraph 1.a, amendment 168. Who is in favor? Who rejects? Who is against? Sorry. Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 167. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 169. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 13, paragraph 1.b, amendment 170. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 13, paragraph 2, amendment 172. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 171. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who's abstains? Rejected. Article 13, paragraph 3, amendment 174 and amendment 175. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 14, paragraph 1, compromised amendment 24. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 14, paragraph 3, amendment 177. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article C, amendment 178. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article D, amendment 179. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 15, paragraph 1, amendment 180. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 15, paragraph 2, compromised amendment 25. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Yeah, right. Article 15, paragraph 3, amendment 18 and amendment 183. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 15, paragraph 4, amendment 184. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 15, paragraph 6, compromise amendment 26. Who is in favor? Sorry, who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 15, paragraph 7, amendment 189. Who is in favor? Who's in favor? Up. Who's against? Yeah, I'm calling for an electronic vote. Check your emails, please.
The vote labeled EP06 corresponds to Amendment 189. Sorry, has that everyone proceeded with their electronic vote?
So 16 in favor, 27 against, 2 abstains, so amendment rejected. Amendment 20 and 190, who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 15, paragraph 3, amendment 192, who is in favor? Who's against? Favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 21 and Amendment 191, who is in favor? Who's against? Adopted. Amendment 193, who is in favor? Sorry, no. The amendment 193 falls if Amendment 21 and 191 are adopted, which is the case, and also 194. So moving on to Article 15. So Article 15, paragraph 9, Amendment 195, who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 22, who is in favor? Who is against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 15, paragraph 10, Amendment 23, who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 15, paragraph 11, Amendment 197. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 16, paragraph 2, amendment 198. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 16, paragraph 3.a, amendment 199. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 24. Who is in favor? Who is against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 6. Yes. Because there were more hands up when it was in favor. Yes, you can. How many are asking for electronic votes? Not enough. So moving on. Article 16, paragraph 3.b, amendment 200. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 201. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 202. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 16, paragraph 3.c, amendment 203. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 16, paragraph 4, amendment 225. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 16, paragraph 9, amendment 205, 206, 207. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 16, paragraph 10, 208, amendment 208. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 17, paragraph 1, amendment 209. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 18, paragraph 1, amendment 211. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 210. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 18, paragraph 3, amendments 212. Who is in favor? Who's against? I'm asking for electronic votes.
Vote EP07 corresponds to Amendment 212. No one is getting it. Has anyone not received their email or just holding us hostage with their vote? No? You haven't received it?
Who was it who didn't receive it? I can resend them.
No, they've all received it. We're just waiting on results.
All right, all good, all good.
Twenty-three in favor, 21 against, 1 abstain. It's adopted. Moving on to Article 19, Paragraph 1, Compromise Amendment 27 and Amendment 215. Who is in favor? Who's against? Adopted. Amendment 63, 143, 173, 196, and 204 are a package amendments for coherence. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 19, Paragraph 2, Compromise Amendment 28. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 19, Paragraph 4, Compromise Amendment 29. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 19, Paragraph 5, Amendments 225. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 227. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment. So because CA25 was adopted, then 226 falls. So Article 19, Paragraph 6, Amendment 229. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Same thing for Amendment 228. So moving on to Article 19, Paragraph 7, Compromise Amendment 30. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 20, Article 19, Paragraph 8, Amendment 233. On this one? Okay. Oh yeah, how many are calling for an electronic vote? Yes.
So the vote labeled EP08 corresponds to Amendment 233.
Yes. Has everyone voted? Yeah, it's rejected. 15 in favor, 24 against, 5 abstains. It's rejected. Article 20, Amendment 234. Who is in favor? Who favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 22, paragraph 2, Compromise Amendment 31. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 22, paragraph 3, Amendment 241. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 22, paragraph 4, Compromise Amendment 32. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 22, paragraph 9, Amendment 246. Who is in favor? Who's in favor? Paragraph 5, sorry. Article 22, paragraph 5, Amendment 246. Who is in favor? Up to the sky. Who is against? Who? Like, hold on if you're against. Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 247. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 248. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 249. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 23, Amendment 251 and 252. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 250. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article E, Amendment 253. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Article 25, paragraph 2, Compromise Amendment 33. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Article 26, paragraph 1, Amendment 28. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Amendment 257. This one falls. Also, this was false. Article 26, paragraph 3, Amendment 259. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Annex 1, Amendment 260, 261, 262, 263, 264. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Annex 3, Amendment 265. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Preamble, Amendment 29. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 2, Amendment 30. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 31. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 6, Amendment 1. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Amendment 32. Who is in favor? Oh, sorry. Also, recital 7, Amendment 34. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 35. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 8, Amendment 36. Who is in favor? Who abstains? Sorry, I'm doing it again. Who is in favor? The same one, sorry, I'm just 36. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 9, Amendment 38. Who is in favor? Who is against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 10, Amendment 39. Who is in favor? Yeah. Sorry. Amendment 2 and 37. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Recital 10, Amendment 39. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 3 and, no, sorry. Yes. Amendment 3 and 40. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Recital 14, Amendment 42. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 4 and 43. Who is in favor? Who is against? Who abstains? Adopted. Recital 5, Amendment 5. Recital 15, Amendment 5. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Amendment 44 and 45. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Recital 16, Amendment 48. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 18, Amendment 49. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 19, Amendment 51. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 50. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 21, Amendment 52. Who's in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 24, Amendment 53. Who's in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Recital 25, Amendment 54. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 27, Amendment 55. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 28, Amendment 56. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 33, Amendment 6, 57, 58. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Recital 34, Amendment 59. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Oh, wait. Recital 46, Amendment 60. Who is in favor? Up, the arms, please. Thank you. Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Amendment 61. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 49, Amendment 62. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Amendment 7. Who's in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Recital 50, Amendment 8. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Adopted. Recital 62, Amendment 66. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 64, Compromise Amendment 34. Who is in favor? Who is against? Who abstains? Adopted. Recital 65, Amendment 69. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 67, Amendment 70. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. Recital 69, Amendment 71. Who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? Rejected. New recital, Amendment 72. Who is in favor? Who's against? Don't move. Up, the arms, up, up, up. Oh, no, for again. Yeah, how many of you are? Yes, so electronic votes. On Amendment 72.
The vote labeled EP09 corresponds to Amendment 72.
So the results are 22 in favor, 21 against, 2 abstain. It's adopted. Thank you, everyone. So now we can move to point 5, which is the vote on the amended report, which according to Rule 224 will be, so we'll vote on the amended report with a simple majority and with roll call vote again. So please check your emails. Not yet. Just like you'll check your email. You can.
The electronic vote labeled EP10 corresponds to the amended report.
Adopted. So 24 in favor, 17 against, and 4 abstain, so it is adopted. Now moving on, sorry, to point 6, which is the vote on the mandate to start negotiation with the council. According to Rule 72, we'll vote by absolute majority by show of hands. So please, like, then again, your arm super high in the sky. So who is in favor? Who's against? Adopted. Thank you. No, that's my bad. I'm sorry. Who abstained? So I'll do it again. Sorry. On the vote on the mandate to start negotiation with the council, who is in favor? Who's against? Who abstains? I'm so sorry. Thank you. So now moving on to point 7, which is the intervention by the rapporteur.
Thank you very much, Chair. I want to thank all of the MEPs for their introductory remarks and their amendments. I believe we have introduced some very ambitious changes, and I think the report as it stands now is very comprehensive and is a strong position going into the trilogues with the Council. I want to also thank you for entrusting me with this mandate that I will fulfill to my highest responsibility and defend the position of the European Parliament and the EU citizens. Thank you very much.
So to close this meeting, I wanted to, first of all, thank you for your cooperation today. We're right on timing, so that's super nice. Thank you for your help. Next step is that the shadow rapporteur, the rapporteur, and myself will go to the trilogue to defend the position of the EP on Monday. Our next meeting will be on the 21st of January, so that makes it Tuesday. Basically, we will report back on the trilogue and discuss again. We'll have a discussion with the shadows and MEPs about the next step. I just want also to thank the EP Secretariat and the rapporteur and shadow rapporteur because they're doing a fantastic job. Yes, thank you. Thank you for them. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, that was a shout out that needed to be done. Yes. Yes. Yeah, but that would be maybe like you need to maybe talk to the shadows. Yeah. Because we can't do anything, like the secretary and myself can't do anything before the meeting. Thank you. So yes, this session is adjourned. Thank you. Bye.